Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Allen. I'm one of your hosts for what is our Saturday Q&A for the trading side of our business project. I have myself and then my partner, Mr. Tito Avila. We do this every Saturday morning to help our community get from one week to the next week more empowered as we all go through our training and trading process. Nick, can you let people in for me? And so, without any further ado, we're going to get started. And leading off this process is my partner, Mr. Tito Avila. Mr. Avila, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning.
Well, good morning. Good morning. The call is yours.
Excellent. Excellent. Good to see you. Let me go ahead and put my screen up here. Boom. Okay. Can you see this okay?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. How's everything been with you? How was your week, Mr. Allen?
It was fun. I was running around. I was in about, over the last probably 10 days, I touched about 8 states. So
okay,
that was a pretty fun. That was interesting.
8 states, man. That's not one state. I know that's not one state. That's 8.
Yeah, we went. We went Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia. Then we went Kentucky, and then we went Tennessee, then Alabama. No, I didn't hit Alabama, I don't think. Then I went up to Pennsylvania, and then we came back down through DC. And anyway, so
wow. Definitely let me know next time y'all are coming to North Carolina. I'd love to, wherever it's at. I mean, I'm on the far end, but I'll make it happen.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. So one of the first things about my access to wealth is controlling my calendar. So that's a real big thing for me. And then, you add the wealth of peace of mind, wealth of health, wealth of finances, you add that all to it. But my control of my calendar is a high value for who I am as a person. So as I'm doing all of this stuff, I just get appreciative to this skill set, which is 1, but this community is 2, that gives me the platform to have that freedom of calendar.
Got it. Wonderful. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started, everybody. It's the Q&A. So if you have questions, hopefully we got answers. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question, or you can type it in the chat if you prefer, and we'll get right down to business. I have a chat. Where's the chat? Oh, here we go. Okay. Right. So yeah, if you have a question, please feel free to unmute yourself. Type it in the chat. We don't have the telepathic system set up yet to receive your questions. Hopefully soon.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Tito. Hey, I'm just making sure I get a few new people, brand new folks who need to be on. So just bear with us. I know we'll get somebody asking some questions. I know I have a few new people who may not be aware just yet. They should be on here. So,
yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and appreciate you, gentlemen.
Absolutely. Miss Jessica Arzu.
Yes, sir.
Are you in a place you can make yourself available to answer questions as well? Stuff that maybe
Yes.
you can speak to when they come in?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I like to welcome our other co-host for this afternoon, Miss Jessica Arzu.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So if you got any questions for myself, Tito, Jessica, please just speak. Breaking up pretty bad. So I'm like, I sound like a robot right now.
Get Miss Nona to cue up the Jeopardy music in the meantime.
Absolutely.
Hit us with the old school.
Good morning, Nona.
We got
I don't have any
yeah, go ahead.
any questions, but I know we do have guests on the line. I just want to make it available to them that they are looking at us, that they can ask questions as well. So don't be afraid to ask questions. That's what this time is for.
Man, 10,000%.
Yes, indeed.
Tito, you saying that Nona said she'll be in North Carolina Monday on the chat?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, but he's back in chat, though. He said, let me know. I heard him say it too.
Let's connect. See what lines up. We got 20 people or so in here. I'm wondering how many people are out here trading.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's hard to imagine trading and not having questions. Because I still got I got questions every day about these markets, man. Every single day. There's so much. It's a loaded universe.
Tito, do me a favor while we wait for whatever it's going to come for this call. Switch your Bitcoin to the 1 minute so that way we can actually watch the chart move. So for trading view, if you look where it says BTC-USD, that red is clocking down to 1-0, and then now there's a new candle that's about to come to life. In a second. So now the new candle started. We got 40-something seconds left on it. Price just hasn't. I picked the candle. The price not moving at all during that time.
Mr. Allen, what do you have something plugged in for your mic right now, like some kind of device, or like, are you wearing it?
The mic was. I have a
1,000% better, sir.
Oh yeah. I had to turn it. As soon as I heard him say that, I had the mic turned away from me. Thank you.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Now you sound like you're on the Oprah show.
There we go. I'm about to say, Tid, I got a professional mic. I went to Amazon, did the reviews and everything. But,
Oh yeah, man.
but you do got to turn it towards you. So
That was great.
Yeah,
Rob.
I never noticed how great it is until you just spoke about it. And then for real, I mean, I'm sure I sound like I'm on a AM radio probably.
no, you sound good now. But when I decided we were going to be doing this kind of full force, I went researching mics. I still got to get a better camera. So the camera I got is regular, it's decent, but I didn't get to go through the reviews like I like to. But
I
this
mean,
mic,
your trading desk is amazing, sir. So I wouldn't expect your audio game to be anything short
yeah, no, I
of
deep dive.
amazing.
I received that. I received that.
And you look fabulous.
Thank you, ma'am. I received that too.
So I have a question for you and Tito. If you can go back to the 4-hour chart, Mr. Avila, please, sir.
Yes, sir.
And let me let Will stir up in the room. So when we're looking at this 4-hour chart, knowing what you guys know, I see some patterns, right? But from your perspective, being traders, just looking at that chart right there, there are some candlestick patterns that show up. And I've noticed exactly, going back a little bit before that big run up to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Go back in time until you go to the left.
Yeah, go all the way back to where the run started. There's a double bottom, right? Where that run up starts.
You're talking about right here?
Yeah, and then there's also an inverted head and shoulders. Do you see those patterns, or am I just looking for what I think is there?
Whenever my brain go to head and shoulders, I'm gonna go to a line chart just so I can see it clearer.
Okay.
So do me a favor for a second, Tito. Go to a line chart. So that's where so if my brain say head and shoulders, I just go look here. So do you still see what you think you saw when you saw it?
No, it's not as distinctive anymore. You see the very biggest bottom, where the bottom W is. Yeah, I thought that was a head and shoulders.
That is
right,
head and shoulders, though. That is
okay.
head and shoulders. So
okay.
Oh, we at the bottom. That's a head, and then
Right.
you got the left shoulder. You got a very small, ugly looking right shoulder. Not there,
Okay.
the inverted one, the bottom.
Yeah, I'm seeing. So you're talking about this right here, right?
No,
Yeah.
not me.
Oh.
I'm talking about there, but you made it to. I'm talking about the actual right where you at though, right? So go to that bottom, right where you at, the bottom. That's the head. Now you go to the left a little bit. That little lump is down right there. That's a left shoulder. And if you go to the right, that's the right shoulder. So that's a bona fide head and shoulders.
Yeah, that's like a micro one, and you could say this is a
bigger one,
a macro of the same thing, right? So a lot of times you see head and shoulders inside of head and shoulders.
Yeah, but if I went to go like that much time you grabbing Tito, I'm gonna go to the day chart that I don't even use. But so the way I hit, let me
do the day chart real quick, Tito.
Hold on 1 second. Let me go to the let me have the screen for a second.
Yep.
Show you something. One for what you talking about, Rambus? Like the head and shoulders.
Nobody was asking questions, so I figured we could ask a question about what we see in the charts even before we started to mark it up.
Well, I'm not,
and how it really predicted. It truly gave a perspective on what happened in the market, back testing it, which you always talk about.
Right. Well, I'm not going to go in a 4-hour to make these conclusions you're looking for right now, because so much other stuff is changing while this is happening, because it's 4 hours each candle, right?
Right.
So I use the 4 hour like Coach Max does to find my key levels, but just so we can have what we're talking about, because it could be on a 5-minute chart. That's why I want not to hold on.
We're looking at Wells Fargo.
So right here, right?
No, we're looking at Wells Fargo.
We're looking at Wells Fargo.
Oh, you're looking at Wells Fargo. Okay, all right. Let me I appreciate that. That was that other wire we was talking about, Rambus.
Yeah, I saw the we'll talk about that. I saw your bank frustration. Whoa, wait a minute. I thought we were supposed to love banks, Mr. Allen.
Oh no, I never said that.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you said it. I'm being
yeah.
facetious.
No, hold up. That's great. That's great programming on their part.
Yeah, banks suck.
So, Head and Shoulders, right, is a very specific thing that's giving you specific information, right? Which is that you have a possible retracement. So when I'm looking at a Head and Shoulders, this right here is the neckline, okay? And this is why I don't just measure it all, the whole thing. So this particular Head and Shoulders has this left shoulder, then the head, and now we're waiting to see, do we see the right shoulder, right? So when it came up to here and pulled down, now I have a neckline, which is between the left shoulder and then the right shoulder. If it breaks the neckline, now I have something I can trade on. So it's not just looking at it like, yay, look what we see. I wouldn't do it on the 4 hour, right? Because I don't trade. I trade in and out a little bit more. You will come on the 4 hour if you wanted to see what's going to happen over the next day, right? But measuring the neckline is important because now from the top of my head or the right inside to the beginning of the neckline, now I have a predictable take profit on if it breaks, okay? So what I do when I'm trading this way is I'll look for half of this move. So this is 22.30. I'm going to look for 11.15. So if it breaks the neckline, which it end up doing, because it could also come up here and come back down. It could do a lot of things. So that's why I don't go all over with a Head and Shoulder. Is this particular head, shoulder, head, shoulder. So then from here, it breaks, and then I will look for that 11 because I'm conservative. That 11.15, that 11, that's somewhere around here. Now you see that the run was on the next was 22.30, and it just gave that to you. So the distance between the inside of the Head and Shoulder for this one, it did run the whole way. I've come to take profits that go to the very tip, and then if it's a tie, it go back against me. So I don't try to count the whole run. The most that I would have done is 80% of that number I just told you here. Because I'm conservative, I'll get 50%. But this is what Head and Shoulders do for me, is that when you see them, they show a potential run that's at most the distance of the space of the neckline. So that's what Head and Shoulders should be, the stuff you can go grab like a double top or double bottom. So I wanted to kind of not make it, I just don't use it for this whole thing because it's not actionable to me. So with that, I'm gonna turn it back over. I just wanted to get that thought out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me just follow up on that real quick here.
Yep.
So one of the things that, I mean, yeah, and I'm similar to Mr. Allen in that I wouldn't necessarily be looking on the 4 hour for these types of opportunities, but the information is there. It just depends on what kind of trading you're doing and all that. But one thing I have found specifically with Bitcoin, and I've probably seen it on other cryptos as well, is that you have to really let it prove itself before trading on a reversal pattern like a Head and Shoulders, right? So the first thing is, what's really cool about these markets, something that we've said in the past, is that the markets are fractal, right? Which means you'll see things inside of things inside of things. In this case, just to share what I personally see. So in this case, we have a double top, right here, looking like an owl. Then that comes down, right? And then I see an inverse Head and Shoulders here that morphs into a regular Head and Shoulders here that has a little kind of like a little double top inside of the head there. And that morphs into an inverse again right? So this is basically showing you indecision in the market, where you have bears that are pushing the price down, creating these head and shoulders, and then you have bulls coming back in, creating inverse head and shoulders right on the back end of them, right at the end. And then that again morphs into a regular head and shoulders right here, and then that comes out and forms that head and shoulders is the shoulder of a bigger head and shoulders. But what's crazy is that the end of this one doesn't follow through. Why? Because just when the bears were about to, and the bears just means the people in the market that are selling, right? Those people, they were just about to complete this pattern and potentially give us a run like what Mr. Allen was talking about, give us a run that was some amount of the distance of this down here, similar to how we have this distance here, right? And if you look here on the candlesticks, for whatever reason, right at this moment, precisely at that moment, the bulls, the people that are buying, took control and they canceled out this reversal pattern. And this is why any professional that you ask in these markets how to trade reversal signals like a head and shoulders is going to tell you to be very mindful of waiting for it to confirm before entering. So in other words, if I'm looking at this and I'm a conservative trader, which if you're gonna look at the advice that you get from professionals, they're always going to give you conservative advice, right? You're coming out of this particular head and shoulders and you're planning on the price moving down. Well, let it prove itself first. Let it start coming through and wait for a retracement. You're going to have to do this on a lower time frame, like on maybe the 30, 15, 5 even. But wait for it to come down, retrace, come back, and bounce off once again to continue down. You have a better chance of the head and shoulders following through and being able to capitalize on it than if you just go ahead, in this case, sell right at that the neckline support level. Because at least here you have a confirmation that the momentum is continuing down. And that's just how I personally trade. A more aggressive entry, something we've also talked about in the past, would be like if you came in somewhere up here at the top of the shoulder, right? And then rode it down to here. You would just have to be on the game to make sure that you pull out before price bounces off of this if you don't get a clear confirmation. But yeah, this is not stuff that you want to do on the 4 hour. You're going to want to do your top-down analysis and everything. But I have noticed that Bitcoin can be very tricky when it comes to these reversal signals. It'll trick you where it's like, oh, this looks like a perfect head and shoulders. Well, it needs to prove itself time and time again. That's just my experience with it.
It is, absolutely. Can I comment on that, Mr. Avila, real quick?
Yeah,
if you'll go out to the 1 day for me.
Yep.
Y'all can call me Bitcoin Dion if you like, okay? But I'm a long-term guy on Bitcoin. I'm Bitcoin bullish long-term. So you guys will always know that I believe the value of Bitcoin over time will always outpace the value of our US dollar and any fiat currency. So when I look at this chart, knowing what I know long term, I'm looking at where Bitcoin will be by February 2022. So now go out on the weekly chart for me. Right? That says, wow, man, that's got to come back down to most people, right? What goes up must come down. But we're also in a world where institutional money for the first time is actually excited about Bitcoin and digital currencies and what's happening globally with all central banks printing more fiat currency. I believe by this time next year, we could easily see that price double. And that's why I wanted to actually look at where the pattern was ending out the first quarter of 2021, because we're now in stimulus heaven. Central banks are printing trillions and trillions of dollars, and the large investment firms are paying attention. So
now
yes,
Rambus,
sir.
right here, I love when we get into these conversations. This is about to turn into one of our personal talks that we just give to everybody. So
yes, sir.
what you're speaking to now, so Bitcoin has two different sides to it, right? Everybody, one
Yes.
side is that it's a new currency, just like if it was a new country called the country of Dion versus the United States, right? And it has a gold or oil type of feel as it is entering the new global economy, right? So that's where he said he's long-term bullish, and he's giving you fundamental reasons why it's going to be worth whatever it's going to be by February 22nd. That's a whole side of understanding what Bitcoin is. At the same time, the currency trading part of Bitcoin, because it's BTC USD, you can lose your shirt or you can become a millionaire with predicting when it's going to be going up and then when it's going to be going down on its way to that fundamental side. So it's like Miss Sherry, she's a mother, but she's also a daughter. So in the role of being a mother, let's call that the fundamental side of Bitcoin, which is when you're holding it because it's a new currency, right? It's gold, right? Then she's also a daughter. That's the side where now we're trading. So the first thing as this community is we want to know the difference of what side we're even talking about when we're talking about it, right? So because some people, when in open market, they only understand Bitcoin from the gold side that is about to become more valuable and it's $40,000. It went to 60,000. With all that's the hold side. Now, us as traders, we get a chance to what we're doing now is look at the patterns on its way to doing what it's going to do. Bitcoin was at like 16,000. Rambus and I talking. It's about to be 2021, and he said it's going to go to 50,000. What he said before January, and so it was in a dip, and it's done exactly that and more. But that's the holding side. In the middle, in the midst of what it's been doing since January, if you would have been trying to trade it, Tito, take me to the three tips down, not the high right now, not the high from there, but the third high to the back, right where you got the B at, the B on your on right there. If you were trading and you were trading bullish at that spot, you were in for a lot of hurt. So as you even hear the word Bitcoin in this community, you want to start going, okay, what side of my brain, what side of Bitcoin are we talking about? Are we talking about the long-term fundamentals of the actual new currency, or are we talking about the currency pair and our ability to win on the buy or sell side? And now that could be a part of this whole question and answer stuff too, so we can make those distinctions and then potentially benefit on both sides of it, right? I know one time that me and Ramos was doing something and I wanted to do a transaction, and I had a coin and I was waiting to do another piece of the transaction, and I lost $700 because the coin dipped because I wasn't trading. I was holding it to be able to buy something. So the coin dipped in value while I was holding it, and I wanted to then become a trader again and go make my money back. So there's already two sides that I want this community to be able to understand as we move forward to becoming better stewards of what's happening in the crypto world. So Rambus, does that make sense for you first?
That was exactly my point, is that as a Bitcoin hodler, right? If you hear that terminology in Bitcoin, HODL, it's been coined an acronym for years in the Bitcoin community for hold on for dear life, right? Because there's such violent swings in the crypto space. Hold on for dear life has become a common thing. But for me, I'm a long-term hodler, right? And so I'm always trying to acquire more Bitcoin because it's like gold or silver in a long-term capacity for my personal strategy, right? This is not investment advice. But at the same time, because of Epic and everything that we have going on, in addition to Epic, you and Dan, you and Tito being here every Saturday, actually, I've been trading it on that side that you're talking about. So I've been able to enhance my day trading skills. Right. I remember I got excited about having a 4-figure day. Like that was my first day. I had $1,000 day or more. And I got before I actually haven't traded in the last few weeks because of this move. But the amazing thing is that 4-figure day almost became a 5-figure day because, of the consistency. I know I'll get it. I'm going to get it one day real soon.
Right.
I'm claiming it right now. But my point is, as I've been a long-term hodler, I've now taken that understanding of the macroeconomic side to now being able to go in and snatch out my best day now $6,800, right? And having a $6,000 day, even in a down market, right? It's anytime you want to trade, it's such a powerful thing. So that was kind of my point. And hopefully people are getting a lot out of this. There are much more, many more pairs than Bitcoin. It just happens to be my favorite along with Ethereum. So I'll turn it back over to you guys. I didn't mean to dominate the call. There's got to be somebody who's got questions.
I do have a question to you, Mr. Rambis, in reference to that. So, because you, just like you said, you see Bitcoin going to the levels, the higher levels, in reference to what the company has done, going to the Bitcoin, changing us from US dollars to the Bitcoin of coming in, shows the wisdom of our leadership, because if you see it, the other traders see it too. Am I right?
You're absolutely right. And here's the vision side of Epic, right? To be able to have the guts to take that chance on what is an inevitable future. And I tell you one thing for sure, we have a CEO, David McCovey, who doesn't need the money. That's what's funny, is most people look at saying, oh my God, I'm going to lose my check. My people are going to cancel, right? And nobody has even thought how many millions the CEO loses, right? Or the executive team. People who actually have a bigger stake than we do, we only think about our check, right? Our small check. And for him to have the guts to cut millions out of his own paycheck speaks to his vision, where we're going with it. And he knows long term it'll pay off multiple times, right? Because the value that we bring with this, we just explained, is way beyond the inconvenience of having to get Bitcoin to pay for it. And you having to do it, being an American, mostly. I don't think other cultures will probably have as much difficulty with it because Americans are very used to convenience, right? Having MasterCard and Visa auto passively taking your payment is much easier for people. And of course, that's probably the biggest discomfort. But yes, I think the vision is amazing. Now, here's what's going to happen, Ms. Haygood. Some people are going to buy enough Bitcoin that where the price increases, right, are going to pay for their subscription. So just by dollar, here's my challenge to everyone. If you're watching this video on recording or you're here with us live today, I challenge you to go to Wikipedia or Google and type in what is dollar cost averaging. And if you do that with Bitcoin and the US dollar, you'll appreciate Epic much more than be unappreciative for that change in crypto, because it will definitely benefit us all in the long run of being a pioneer as opposed to waiting on the world to catch up, right? We're going to lead the world because they're coming.
So, Mr. Rambis.
Yes, sir.
So for me, right, because when I first started studying Forex itself, being from the United States, I saw the marketing or the paradigm of being an American, and I likened it to the NFL, right? So in the United States, football literally translates to the NFL, And then the highest stage of that is the Super Bowl, right? But on a global stage, the same word football, it actually means soccer to us. And the highest stage is the World Cup. And so what I saw this from a business perspective is that Epic is, and I'm only assuming, right? My observation is that the United States, because this shift to Bitcoin, and it means one thing in the United States because we use our local currency as the dollar. But we're a trading company where we're actually dealing with the 8 major currencies, fiat, right? The New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. But then now we're also having these non-government central bank currencies, which we call cryptocurrencies right now, right? And so by being a crypto-based payment company, we are kind of shedding off being an American company and picking up being a global company. So I interact with people in Nigeria. I can't send them dollars. He can't even take it. So I always have to go to Bitcoin anyway to make a payment. So I just saw Epic stepping into the global platform and saying that we care about every community the same. And the way to be not over leveraged on one particular process or to be over favoritism to the United States because our home base started the United States is this process right here. So if you coming from Japan this whole time and everything was based USD, now you got to think JPY, then convert it to USD, then convert it back, then convert it back. So everybody else outside the US always had to have a US based conversion thought process, if that makes sense, right? And so that's what I saw Epic doing, is stepping into the global community. We know I got partners in Australia. So when I pay that 60 something dollars in 80 something dollars in Australia, is really 60 something dollars in the US. And we got to keep dealing with all those conversions and paying those conversions multiple times. And so that's what I see. And then now it helps each of us being early adopters. Like somebody's going to get started as a client and it's going to be May of 2021. And they're not even going to have the thing that Epic ever took based on the US dollar. So in 60 days, this is just going to be the truth for everybody. And all of us here get to be the early class to be able to build a global customer base. And so it just rewards bigger thinking now, in my opinion. So now easier for me because I deal with multiple currencies already, but now Ms. Haygood got the same opportunity as I have. And now the company's saying, think globally now, in my opinion, sir.
Absolutely. And we have already 40%, right, of our entire student body is international.
Right.
So we can't be selfish as Americans to just think it's all about us.
Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl.
Exactly. One more thing, Mr. Avila, real quick, if you will, just for the sake of education, because we're on the crypto subject matter, guys. If you want to further educate yourself, just go to your browser bubble and type in coinmarketcap.com. Go to a new website. Yeah, drop a new window. Coinmarketcap.com. Great way, guys, for you to see how much this ecosystem is actually worth. If you look at the very top, all the cryptocurrencies in the world, you scroll up just to the very, very top bar. There are 8,900 of them. Bitcoin was the first, okay? So, you know, it's okay to start learning about it, right? You know, we're not, this is not going away, is my point. And I think, again, this is a huge, huge step for Epic being a pioneer and a catalyst really for this. And you guys get to be coaches. You get to have the privilege of educating the world on what this new technology and whole new asset class that's going to change the internet. It's literally going to repave the superhighway. The information superhighway is being repaved with a technology called blockchain. And these are all the projects that are repaving it. Bitcoin, of course, the biggest and the baddest at a $1 trillion market cap. So start doing your study, get educated. Don't expect anybody to do it for you. It's not going away. And again, I'm sorry I hijacked you guys' call today, but be
it's
on our
appreciated.
crypto Q&A tomorrow, Mondays at 6:30 every week. And bring your guests, bring friends, bring family. People are looking and clamoring to learn this information, like I said, and you get to be a coach just because you know even just how to open a wallet. And actually, you have a Bitcoin-based business now. So that just gives you an authoritative position in the marketplace. I have a Bitcoin business. Wouldn't you like one? Right? I mean, listen, Mr. Allen, we've been trained to make lemonade out of lemon. So I think this is just a massive opportunity for us. I'm sorry again. I'll turn it back over to you guys.
So for most of us, right, on the call, we remember 1995, right? And in 1995, the internet became kind of a household thing. And in that new technology, we went from what was called snail mail to email. Before you get to buying stuff online, before you all those other uh, progressions that we grew. I know the first one was you've got mail. And I mean, and AOL was the kind of the forefront to it. Even the way that the internet was delivered, you know, dial up, which was super fast for us at first because it actually existed. And then when DSL came out, so all those different, but just the like from DSL from dial up to DSL is a progression in the same model. It's not a new paradigm, right? It's just a faster way to do the same thing. But from email implementation in the general public, that was a new paradigm. And so I remember helping my mom with it. I remember helping my elders with it. And but in a real short period of time, you know, I remember my aunt used to always watch QVC, and that's how she ordered. She called, and then she made the transaction, and then QVC you can buy it online. Another paradigm shift into what became now the regular norm. So this is nothing new, except that it's something new. If that makes sense. We've been brought along um, from the tape player to the CD. That's kind of the same how to listen to music, right? But when they actually made the LP and the generation before me, that was a whole new way where it wasn't just live people singing. It was a way to be able to a new paradigm. So we are just in the forefront of a new paradigm, in which what Mr. Rand is saying is not going away. See, when it goes away, it was a fad, right? But if it's not going to go away and it's about to become the way things are, it's a shift in the global consciousness, or at least the national consciousness from a US perspective. But the global consciousness of blockchain, which is really the conversation, we just expressing it through cryptocurrency right now, but it's going to change a bunch of different things that's going on in our world. It's now starting from the outside, which is the global community. Now it's in the United States, and now it's focused that you get to be a first mover, which is what Mr. Ram is saying, the coach, and just it's already happening. And most of us are just used to being able to participate on the retail side by buying, not on the profit side. So now on top of one, getting Mr. Ramos's brain, so you understand what market cap is, why was it circulating supply, why that's important, the market cap, the volume, all those things. That's a fundamental education that we can borrow Mr. Ramos's brain on Mondays at 6:30, and then all of us are already learning how to trade. So then we can then come back and then benefit from Bitcoin USD specifically, or Ethereum USD specifically, even Bitcoin EUR. Once you know how to trade, you can trade any of it, because those patterns that we were pointing out earlier, they speak the same language, right? So I'm not looking for a head and shoulders on the 4-hour chart. I'm looking for what direction do I think the market is going from a bias perspective. Then when I go down to the 5-minute chart, I'm looking for a head and shoulders or a double top or double bottom that matches my bias. So then I got more confidence that it's going to go to all the way through once it breaks through, once it confirms itself. So just if you can remember 1995, we are in front of bringing email to the United States that we already know what it's going to do. It's going to be the thing, right? Xerox was that for fax machines, right? Imagine the first person that got a fax machine. Who could they fax to? Nobody, because the other person had a fax machine. That's a whole new paradigm. So now I got to call Rambus and say, hey, listen, I need you to buy one of these fax machines so we can try it out. So now Rambus brought a fax machine because he trusts me. They cost probably $1 million at that time. So now me and him faxing to each other, and we're figuring out we can just get 2 more people with fax machines. We can get a more efficient way to send documents to each other. That's where we are right now. That makes sense. And just and then even then we can only buy fax machines. We can't make money with fax machines at that time. If that parallel makes sense. So with that, I want to pass it to Tito. Also open up the questions, but I'm excited for what this looks like 24 months from now. And I'm also excited for the people that don't come because they get a chance to have the power of choice. You get hopefully none of us on this call, but some people get to say, I saw it and I chose not to take advantage of it when they look in their hindsight. And they're not going to feel it was a blessing because they're not going to like the result. But the fact that there's been so many times that people that look like me, I know we got a big community on here, and you didn't get the opportunity to say yes or no. You didn't get the opportunity to participate or say, I'll pass on this one, right? You just either brought it or you didn't buy it, but you didn't get opportunity to benefit with the growth. And so I didn't buy Bitcoin a whole when my partner told me it was going to 50,000 because I'm a trader, but I got a chance to not buy it and say, wow, he was smart. Now from 16,000, because it was at 20, we were going back and forth for about 20,000. It was right about, if you go back to 2017 when it did that big drop. So it was right about 20. Then it ran down to 16. And then I brought some because I was doing a transaction and he's telling me it's about to go to 50. And I did not take advantage of his wisdom, but I got the chance to not take advantage of it. And that's an empowering place, if that makes sense to you. So
I wasn't wise enough to borrow some money from all of y'all to get some more.
So, Mr. Avila, jump in and then let's see if any questions, and then we can get ready to wrap up.
Yes, sir. I was just noticing. Is that Mr. Perp?
Yeah, that's my little brother.
Raphael?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was your name, man. That's my middle name.
Big Perp in the house.
My man Perp and I, we got the same name. That's my middle name. That's what's up, man.
Well, to that point, guys, let's open up real quick for a question, and we only got a few minutes left. I wanted to show you what exactly you were just talking about, Dan. Go ahead out to the weekly chart again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we was going back and forth when it was the other stuff didn't happen yet.
Right, it was just playing around at the 20,000 mark. See where you got the flat head, the 2 red down days, right at 20,000. It was trying to punch through, right?
Go back to 2017, Tito, so they can
yeah,
see
you can go all the way back.
Yeah. Just go back so they can see what we was talking about. So at the beginning of that 2017, that's the only point of reference we had for how high Bitcoin had went. So now.
Right.
Go ahead, Rams. I'm sorry. I just wanted to kind of make that.
Yeah. So, and here's why, guys, I was telling him it's going to 50, right? Because that's a pattern that has happened repeatedly since the beginning of Bitcoin in 2009 during its consolidation runs, which go, sometimes a year or even longer, which this was a 3-year consolidation or retracement, and then built right back up to the 20,000 points. So that first peak at 20,000 in 2018, you see, go back, put your cursor way back here at the first peak. Yeah, there you go. When it filled all of that space back up, come back over to this year, bring your cursor red. See all that swimming pool that was filled in? It took 2.5, 3 years, right, to fill in that space or to pull back. And now here's what happened in that time frame. There was something called a halving in 2020, last May, which cuts the Bitcoin supply. One of the technical or fundamental things about Bitcoin is there's a limited supply, 21 million coins, and almost 19 million are finished, right? So that means they're either lost forever or in somebody's wallet. And there's about 2 million left that have to be created, but they're only created 6 coins for everybody in the world every 10 minutes right now. This past year, it reduced from 12 and a half to 6.25 coins every 10 minutes. That's a block. A block of coins is produced every 10 minutes in Bitcoin's network. I'm getting real technical, but I want you to see the fundamentals. This is why I knew it would continue to go up, right? Because the supply is shortening, it's getting, more and more tight and reduced, yet that 1% of the world who owns Bitcoin is quickly becoming 2%. And the 2% will quickly become 4%, and 4% will become 8%. We'll reach a tipping point where the world is mass adopting Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And you see that huge spike that happened this year is not because of all of us, really. It's because the technical built-in program of Bitcoin says the limited supply will be cut in half every 4 years. And 2020 was a halving. 2024 will be another halving. And that supply goes from 6 coins every 10 minutes to 3 coins every 10 minutes. And that means what's going to happen between now and 2024 when that supply gets cut in half again and more of the world in the next 4 years hears about Bitcoin because of us and Epic and all the rest of the world who start to adopt it. It's just by the mechanics and the nature of math, guys. It has nothing to do with emotions, governments, or anything else. By the mechanics of mathematics, if we're all here and alive in 2024, when that next halving happens, Bitcoin usually does a 5 or a 10x from its previous high. So you do the math. 5x of the previous high was 20,000. 5x of 20,000 is 100. If it does 10x, it'll be at 200. Okay, so I'm just kind of giving you guys my brain, like you said, Mr. Allen, and why I'm such an enthusiastic Bitcoin hodler. And that's why I can say confidently, dollar cost averaging will be your best friend over the next 5 to 10 years in this specific space.
So Kim Gaines. Kim. By the time he finished saying all that to me, I said, I just know I got to study what halving is. Because now he said a whole bunch of stuff, but because I don't know what halving is, I can't take it all the way in the way I need to. So while he's saying that to me, and I'm saying, okay, one day soon, I'm going to study halving. We were at a spot that was matching the high from 2017, right? So I'm saying, what is the likelihood that I'm learning this thing right as it's about to break through and go to 50? I'll find out later. And if I don't get a chance to profit from it, I still now have the relationship and then even a more appreciation to his wisdom because I'll watch it go through and I won't win this time. But when he says it's going to go to X the next time, one, I'll understand halving. Two, I understand dollar cost averaging. So, and then I just never picked up the study yet. But if you watch that thing that it did, like Cisco was asking me, like that's never happened in the world before because this currency is only 2009 and it's the beginning like the internet. Like, so back to the email time for me, we can never go back to when there's not going to be an email. So I've seen things in my life that turned on that never turned back off. It wasn't a fad, if you will. So, and then Tito, if you lighten up, if you kind of, if you dive into right there to the right side of your red X, your red box, right when it's about to break again, right there where you at, make it bigger for me. Now take that area right there where you are and take it to 4-hour calendar. So put a flag or something there where price is about to break. Where's a red candle right there?
Okay, like right here.
Yeah, mark it right there. Then give us a 4-hour candle. A 4-hour chart, I mean. Mark the red though. Yeah, go two back. Go two back.
Change the vertical line to 2 back.
Yeah, please. Because Rambus and he's telling me about having and all that stuff. 2 lines back on the weekly. It was
on the weekly. Okay.
Yeah. Because now go back to candle.
Did I
right
bring
there.
that part up, Dan? I'm usually try to keep the technical stuff out so I don't confuse people. I
No,
brought that
no.
up when we were talking.
Well, I mean, not when we was at that moment, but before.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because I was learning the charts. Because I got to understand it for me. So I didn't even really, when we were having this conversation, it hadn't really dawned on me that this is just a pair. Because all people say is Bitcoin is this, Bitcoin is that. So we were talking on the charts. I said, let me see it on the chart. So when I saw it on the chart, I said, hold up, this thing say BTC USD. I know what that is. So we're talking, right? And that green line is the spot. So you can see it's a double top. Then it dropped. So while it was dropping, this is when it went down to 16, right? This spot right here. So we're watching it drop, and then Rambus is saying, but it's about to go to 50. Yeah, well, it's at 16 now. And just to have somebody that can see into the future enough of a thing, because they have that level of understanding, and then is able to share it. Because if we erase all the stuff in the future, I had that it hit that same top, and now it was rejected. So I had more evidence for me that it was going to go back down to 10,000 than that it was going to go up to 50. But because we trust each other, well, I didn't get in the trades. Let's say that. But imagine where we are here based off what he's saying now. And once you understand having for yourself, because I don't got it yet, I got that he has it, and it's something for me to study. And he just gave us dollar cost averaging. Like, that's probably the highlight of this particular call for me, is that I'm going to study both of them sometime shortly. I got a lot of stuff on my plate. But that's where we were at. I was saying, well, it's about to hit that high, and it hit it. Then it double topped the high. And I was like, and it ran down. So I was looking for it to go down a little bit more, and then it broke, and then it's just been dancing ever since. So, either way, any questions before we go?
No, I just wanted to state, Mr. Rambis, 31st is the last day for the $99 new person, correct?
The promo, yes, the $99 promo for a new sign up will end at the end of the month. But
right.
Everybody goes Bitcoin starting tomorrow.
Monday.
All right, Monday, yes.
Right, okay. 5 days for $99. That's a good deal. Left.
Awesome.
All right.
Mr. Rambis, you want to give the calendar for the day?
Yes, sir. You guys jump on at 1 p.m. for the Success Lab. Of course, our incredible executive team will be sharing the insights from the top. Lots of great, listen, stay plugged into the Success Lab every Saturday. Not only are they training, they're giving you the heartbeat of the company. Lots of other information and exciting announcements are coming, even in the next 7 days. So get ready for those things. Be on the Success Lab at opportunity.epictrading.com, 1 p.m. Eastern. We do have our team opportunity Zoom still going on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sundays. So we obviously cut back due to now we're out of the launch phase. We're now on a 4-day a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, 9 p.m. for our opportunity Zoom. So load up the calls at 9 o'clock on our 777-434-6287 Zoom. That's 777-434-6287. That is, again, 9 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And of course, tomorrow, crypto Q&A. Hope to hear you guys on
Monday.
I'm sorry, Monday. I don't know why I keep thinking today is Sunday. It's Monday, crypto Q&A, 6:30 Eastern, of course, on this same meeting ID. And make sure you invite guests and friends and family, people who are curious and inquisitive, wanting to learn about Bitcoin and learn how to grow their money, right? So that's what we're here doing. Appreciate you again, Mr. Allen and Mr. Avila. As always, gentlemen, I'll turn the call back over to you.
Mr. Rambers, I think it's not appropriate to promote the Spanish Q&A that happens in about a minute.
Absolutely. And mi español un poquito. So I will turn that over to Mr. Avila so he can give it to you guys. But yes, we have a Spanish speaking Q&A. I know you all know those who are maybe have a Spanish as their first language, and maybe even people who are outside the United States, and you can grow your business internationally. And Mr. Avila, Miss Veronica Sanchez have taken it amongst themselves. Mr. Cisco Arzu, because they are all speak that language and their native tongue, so they can actually help us expand our businesses as well as their own, and they're willing to put that on their shoulders. So we appreciate them for that as well. That is Mr. Avila. I think it's the same Zoom we're on now.
Yes,
So
sir.
what are you guys doing that on?
Yep.
On
That's
here?
correct.
At noon, right? We're starting that now.
Yeah, we got to
Right
hang
now.
up now with everybody.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, have a great day.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
We'll see you all then.